Hey, what is up guys? Goblin here, back with another substance review. This video is going to be a hoot and a holler, so make sure to... Oh wait, what's that? This is a Looksmax review? Oh, okay. I guess I'll give this one up to Dre.
Yikes, Drake. Have you tried being confident?
I know I've already uploaded like 3 videos within less than a week. I don't know what day this is going to come out, but screw it. As I get deeper into the school year, I'm just getting more frustrated, honestly. As usual, nothing is going well socially, and I've run out of money to spend at the bar, so I guess I'm just gonna chill and upload some more videos. We are on a generational run, boys. Call me the A-Train the way I can't stop. Like, people here might get the impression that I just lie down and rot every day, but I have actually spent a good amount of time and money trying to Looksmax. And I figure I could at least guide you guys on what has and hasn't worked. I've had this mini series at the back of my mind where I just wanted to quickly review some basic Looksmaxes I've done, mostly soft maxes, just so I can tell you whether I think it's worth your time or money. And one more thing, I've decided to switch to COD gameplay for the time being. If I had to play 10 more minutes of Star Wars Battlefront 1 or 2, I think I'd probably just rope max. So for the time being, I'm just gonna stick to Call of Duty. I apologize if I suck at the game. I hate being bad at things, which is kind of funny because I'm basically bad at nearly everything. I'm actually a pretty competitive person, all things considered. Like, I'm a literal tryhard at everything I do, which is a rarity for people in this community, for better or for worse. But like everything else in life, playing games is a learning process, and I don't think I've played this game in months, so I'm a little bit rusty. But with that out of the way, let's begin. Now, I want to start this series off strong. If you've seen the title of this video, you already know what softmax I'm talking about, and that is none other than height insoles. And I guess to a lesser extent, height increasing shoes. Just like any height increase you can do by putting something on your feet. Just so you guys know, this video mainly refers to height insoles. I started using insoles on one fateful day in freshman year of college, a little under 2 years ago. I remember this day pretty well. It's late at night, and I find myself at a girl's place. Now, before you guys get any ideas, let me clarify, it's not like that. There really isn't any mutual attraction either way with anyone there. But I was the only guy there, and we were just playing cards and munching on snacks. And everything was going fine until one of the girls asked me to reach something from the top shelf. No big deal, right? I'm a tall guy after all, or so I thought.
Hey, how tall are you anyway?
Oh, I'm 5'11", I said.
Nuh-uh, no way, Dre. I'm 5'8", and you're barely an inch taller than me.
I mean, I genuinely thought I was 5'11", since that's what everyone else kind of assumed my height to be. And that's another thing. I'm going to be using American imperial units instead of the metric system, so I apologize to all my European viewers watching this. Feel free to pull up a converter in another tab while playing this video. Now, I don't know about you, but when someone questions my height, it gets a little bit personal. I was still pretty BP'd at the time, I'd say, so I knew the way I looked was more important than anything, including my height. So while they all took another snack break, I sprinted back to my dorm in the middle of the night, woke up my roommate, and grabbed his measuring tape, because that's what normal, well-adjusted people do at 2 a.m., right? I burst back into the girl's place, measuring tape in hand, ready to prove my point. I was all like, all right, let's settle this once and for all. Well, folks, turns out I'm actually not as tall as I thought. The verdict? A whopping 5'9", 2 whole inches shorter than I'd claimed.
Oh my god, he doesn't even know his own height.
And that, my friends, was how I spent the rest of my night, being mercilessly roasted for not knowing my own height. It kind of reminds me of that DPDR video where he measures his coworker's height at his basement job, and the kid's all disappointed. As I trudged back to my dorm at like 4 a.m. that night, I had an epiphany. I needed height lifts, and I ordered them within the week, because apparently I couldn't be trusted to accurately report my own height. So, word of advice, know your height, or at least be ready to prove it at a moment's notice. You never know when you might need to sprint across campus at 2 a.m. to grab a measuring tape. Trust me on this one. Now, since then I've used growth hormone to grow to like 5'10 and a half, which is my current height, and that's a tale for another day. I want to make a special video dedicated to PEDs. So yeah, guys, I've actually been lying to you this whole time. I'm not 5'11", I'm actually 5'10 and a half barefoot. I'm a manlet, I know. But even then, I've been using like an inch of insoles to get me up to that 5'11 and a half height. And to start with the pros of shoe lifts, I can think of a few. First and foremost, they're cheap and easy to get, especially online. Like, just go to Amazon and you will see shoe lifts priced at like $12 on average. And another pro is that you can basically have any increase in height, since you don't necessarily need to use every insole in your shoes if you don't want them. You can throw out a 1/4 inch or up to 4 inches if you're feeling brave. I'd say another pro of height insoles is that they aren't very complicated to use. And what I mean by that is you basically just buy them, trim them to fit your shoes, you just slide them in. It's not like other Looksmaxes where you have to fit any daily regimen or have to complete some complicated process to see any improvement. Once you put them in, that's it. Instant height boost. Another good thing is that once you get used to them, it's not very hard to walk around in them. There are those days when I accidentally stumble a little, but that's like once every few months. Not a very common occurrence at all. And the next next pro is that they're almost unnoticeable to the trained eye. Like I literally bought these. I don't think my roommates or parents noticed the sudden quote unquote growth spurt I had overnight. And my parents watch me like a hawk. They probably know more about me than I do. And on top of that, if you buy the right shoes, no one's ever going to see your lifts. More on that in the cons section. And yeah, before we move on to the cons, I just wanted to let you guys know I now have an X or a Twitter or whatever you call it. I'm just a little afraid that this channel will just get like nuked overnight. So what I'm going to do is just post anything there that might be taken down by our friends over at YouTube headquarters. Like there's so many instances of random removals or even spontaneous channel purges happening on YouTube, and I would hate it if I lost my way to communicate with you guys. I already discontinued TikTok videos simply because I didn't enjoy them all that much, and any short form videos I wanted to make I could just post on YouTube Shorts. I'm not really a Twitter expert, so I might be able to just post videos there. After all, every other video from what I've heard is just OnlyFans girls and cartel beheadings, so it's clear that they allow a larger variety of content on there. But yeah, enough of that. Let's keep going with the main topic of the video. Okay, so now we have to move on to the cons. The biggest one I could think of is that if you're exceptionally tall or short, they aren't really going to be super effective. I think shoe lifts work best at that 5'5" to 6'4" range. Like even if you're 6'4" and you get 2-inch shoe lifts, wait, let me hold on. I need a calculator. 4 plus 2. God damn, you could fraud up to 6'6". That is wild, bro. But to be honest, I don't think anyone over 6'8" is really watching my videos. Also, if you're like 5'1" and you put these on, I'd still say they're worth it. But even then, you're much better off just getting stilts or doing that whole trench coat thing that they do in cartoons. Just find another manlet that's 5'1" and just take turns standing on each other's heads with the trench coat at the club. That would unironically be a better use of your time. Another disadvantage of the height increasing insoles is that they're not really compatible with every shoe. I remember that when I like started stacking lifts, and keep in mind I only fraud like an inch, they were sticking out and they were really uncomfortable. I had the height increase insoles on in France. I was basically limping the whole time I was in Paris. Like I had one too many drinks of champagne. I remember I was at some like college formal, which is basically the college equivalent of a high school dance. I remember I had to transfer my insoles into like these dress shoes, and I could only put on like a 1/2 inch insole in them, but even then it was like super uncomfortable the whole time. I remember I was basically just crip walking during the entire function, and my one itis at the time, which was the girl from the library who I spent $200 on, was also there, and her friend were just pointing and laughing at me the whole time. So yeah, even if you do find compatible shoes to wear, it's gonna take some time to get used to the insoles and your newfound height overall. I basically have to default to wearing these really ugly Adidas shoes. No hate if you like Adidas, they have a lot of cool shoes, but for me I had to buy some basic high top shoes, and the pair I got are just like the most mid black shoes I've ever worn. So be prepared to like not have access to all your shoes or not wear that many, because there's only certain shoes that work really well with insoles, and those are usually like high top shoes. And finally, this is the last drawback. If you go to like any household that doesn't really allow shoes in them, you're gonna have to take your shoes off, and then people are gonna realize that you're fronting your height. Like I still talk to and hang out with that same group of girls from my manlet story up there, and I'm literally so paranoid to take them off because I'm scared they're gonna see the sudden height drop and know what's up. Like, I remember when I first started frauding and going over to girls' dorms, I would just stand at the entrance, but now I immediately just do like the Call of Duty dolphin dive like a weirdo and just suddenly sit back up so that no one should notice, but honestly they probably know what's up. If you pick up a girl at the club and you're already at her place, you've basically already won at that point. The lengths I go to fraud sometimes are crazy, man. I remember this one time I forgot to do my eyebrows, and I literally went up all the way to the store across campus just to buy a new eyebrow pencil since I left the other one back in my apartment. I literally skipped class just so I could do my eyebrows in the bathroom when I was the only one in there. But yeah, no, I'm getting off topic. All right, the final verdict is in, my friends. Height lifts get a 4 out of 5 rehab room chairs. Let's go! I say that you shouldn't leave the house without them. There really isn't a reason why you shouldn't be wearing these in public at all times. They're conspicuous, cheap, and if you're in that 5'7" to 5'10" range, they can really make a huge difference when it comes to picking up girls at the club. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still am a believer that height really isn't as important after 5'8". I really do think that race and face are more important, but that's probably because I am a victim of JBW above all else. Like, the reason why this short I uploaded made me seethe so hard, more than usual, is because the guy in the video looks like a 5'7" Chad that I went to high school with, almost beat for beat. I think the guy I knew IRL was a bit better looking actually, but yeah, that Chad guy is like 2 years younger than me, and he's probably slept with more girls in high school than I ever will in my entire life despite being a manlet. I briefly mentioned him in another video, and he's a freshman in college now, so he's probably in a frat and smashing 10s as I make this garbage video, which I will now wrap up. I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.
This is a certified PSL classic.